Good hunter, you've done well. The night is near its end. Now, I will show you mercy. You will die, forget the dream, and awake under the morning sun. You will be freed from this terrible hunter's dream.
Sans! Why can't we leave? They're laughing at us. Fucking finally. Those things last for fucking hours. You know, honestly, I don't know why you care about what they're laughing at. We should just try and fucking get out of here. Nah, I think I'll just wait, honestly. Much better idea. Wait. What if we just try to be funny? Do you hear that? They're still laughing. We can still control it. Yeah, wait, what are you talking about? Why did I understand that? And why am I getting like these visions of crying baby men, like physically incapable of understanding that they lost, and examining like battery packs to find some form of meaning to their sorry excuses for lives? Can you tell I wrote this back in February when this was in any way relevant? Anyway, let's get some laughs. I don't know, I'm thinking if we can get strong enough of a laugh, maybe we can just like crash the sitcom and get the fuck out of here. Alright. Do you know what this is all about? Do you know why we're here? To be out. This is out. And out is one of the most enjoyable experiences. Do you know when people say out? This is what they're talking about. This whole thing, we're all out now. No one is home here. We're all out. Finally, we're here at the last season of Mr. Iglesias. And by that I mean I've lost interest in the show and have decided to end the series here. Because there's either two outcomes. Either the other seasons are the same as this season, then I don't care about them. Or the seasons go back to being like season 1 and 2. Then I'd just be repeating myself until the end of time. You know, I like to review things that I actually find interesting. And after that third season...
It doesn't say I'm mad, it says you're dead to me.
She has the fucking Among Us woman in her locker. Mr. Iglesias does not feel like that. Now keep in mind, this isn't the official end. If another season does come out and it's really bad, I'll probably make another video. This season has 5 episodes. Even less than the last one. It's a pitiful runtime, and a lot of these episodes are uninteresting and pointless. I don't want to get like ahead of myself, but I don't remember what episode 3 is about. I've watched season 3 3 times, and I have no clue what happens in that episode. I think it's about playing favorites and like a parent-teacher meeting, but I just have a hard time remembering the fucking episode. A typical sitcom could have like 20 episodes in a season, so not every one will be amazing. But if you have a short show, you would hope that every episode has a story worth telling. Well, episode 3 excluded. Maybe we'll see if I'm leaving Mr. Iglesias on good terms, or if the show will continue to go downhill until it gets cancelled and all my criticism will mean even less. God, that's a bit depressing.
Mr. Iglesias can teach anything.
I just don't think you should have to choose between your dad and school.
Slow dance with me.
Okay, that didn't work. You know, honestly, I thought that masterful display of comedic prowess would at least elicit a response from the audience. Oh, okay, fucking, come on. Right, that's it, Sans. Do you have a single idea of how to get out of here, seeing as you're giving me so much lip? What do we do then? What the fuck? This season's humor?
Gabriel, you have 3 looks. You got your resting, friendly face.
AKA Smiley Cyrus.
You got your don't worry, I'm here to help face.
Hi.
There is none.
How about you, Gaber? Any plans?
Why? Who wants to know?
I thought they were going for some weird artsy bullshit.
I mean, he keeps telling me that your favorite student is some girl named Marisol.
Including a laugh track when there aren't any actual jokes. But I realized after watching the season that it just wasn't funny compared to the other seasons, and that's saying a lot. But seriously, this season really is a downgrade from the previous ones. I never thought the other ones were particularly funny. I would probably get a few laughs an episode. I wasn't in tears or anything, but I laughed. I can't really say as much for this season. All the best jokes are only in one episode. Actually, saying best is sort of an understatement. What I mean is all the jokes are in one episode. And to rub the salt into the wound, it's the first episode. Episode 1 isn't perfect. If you do watch it, they really neutered some characters. Coach Dixon comes back this season. Rakeem does not. I really miss Rakeem. Coach Dixon was one of the few characters in the first season who was pretty consistently funny. The very few times he's featured in this season are like this.
I gave them a pizza party, microwave pizza, but they had fun.
And that's the only party they'll ever get invited to. Nerds! Coach up.
I feel like I could put a Godfather quote here, but I can actually express my feelings without references. And Carlos, instead of being an eccentric drama teacher, he's more of a weird guy who hangs around the school being weird and antagonistic.
Oh, time for a lap. Gotta get my steps in.
A zoom!
It's even more like a Disney show now. Not all the jokes are horrible, the only thing that got me through the first episode was Mikey.
Alright, now instead of reading about Julius Caesar, he's gonna be talking to you directly from these screens.
Sweet, the long-lost recordings of Julius Caesar.
I'm so glad they decided to make him more of a main character. Even if I think his relationship with Marisol is stupid and forced, he's probably the best character in the show, until Rakeem comes back, or they bring Lorenzo back to what he was like in the bully episode of season 1. I've sort of come around to Mikey over time. In my heart, he's the main character. He's a very well executed, endearingly stupid character.
What? Switch seats with me.
No.
It's hard to make a character that's endearingly stupid actually endearing, and believe me, I've seen some bad attempts at this sort of character. I want to get all my praise out of the way right at the start so I can talk about everything else.
Check out this last text. Hi, followed by a period.
Punctuation only means one thing. She's mad at you.
Oh, it's Marisol. She's just being grammatically correct.
And then I used a period so he'd know I was mad at him.
Get it? Because this line contradicts with the previous one. Oh, I'm so glad this show, 3 seasons in, is able to grasp such a basic form of comedy.
Well, maybe he's one of those people who's better at communicating in person.
Hi.
Hi.
Get it? Because this line contradicts the previous one. I'm so glad the show's recycling of jokes 20 seconds after the original jokes is carried on to the next season.
You get a tablet. You get a tablet. You get a tablet. Everybody gets a tablet.
Me. I want a tablet.
Don't worry, because everybody... And we're out.
Get it? Because this line contradicts the previous one. I'm so glad the show, using the same joke format in the first 5 minutes of an episode 3 times, is considered funny, creative, or topically political. Also, I'm counting that as an impression, so we can consider this even more formulaic.
Later, girl. I'll talk to you. Okay. I love you too. Bye. I hate the girl.
Get it. I know how to do comedy. I'm a comedian. Please laugh as my show continues to repeat the same joke over and over again. These aren't even the only example of this. But I'd rather save you about 3 minutes of your life.
What, so some of us are gonna get a tablet and some of us aren't?
Ah, just like in life.
There are the have-nots and the have-tablets.
You know what? I'm glad this series still knows how to make insightful and not useless political commentary. In the first season, it was there to teach a lesson, it served a purpose to the greater narrative. Now,
You don't want to get into the who's got it worse competition.
it's not even close to being like that. I'll talk about that later. Surprisingly enough, we're having fun, it may not seem like it, but I'll talk about the great, well thought out political commentary later. Did I mention how well thought out it is? It's also very modern and relevant.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of enjoying this feeling of power.
Don't make us beg!
I can't even put into words how bad that fucking delivery is. There just isn't much to talk about. The comedy sucks, that's it.
Yeah, when you drop her off, you can park in the friend zone.
I don't know how they made the writing so boring. More than half this season is nothing. Most of the interesting things happen in the first and second episode, which does not spell good things for this season. I have so little to talk about in terms of jokes or character plots. There are like 3 interesting plots throughout the season, and all of them are because they're bad. The season is just so shit. I feel embarrassed for like the actors. It's so sad that these otherwise nice seeming people, even Mr. Iglesias, have to do this show. I mean, I can't read their mind, but it just comes across as if they've given up. The stilted camera and cinematography can work for the other seasons because there's shit actually going on, but this season is just like fucking awful to look at. God, I'm glad I don't have to talk about this show anymore. What do you mean, kill? I mean, what are you talking about? I'm not going to kill a guy, Sans. I may not like him, but I'm not gonna fucking kill him. Oh, well, you should have made that more clear. So how do we do it? Because if I have to fucking listen to this laugh track for 1 more minute, I'm gonna fucking just fucking shake somebody. That's the line we're going with, ladies and gentlemen. That's the fucking line. Well, come on, what have we gotta do? Why did you suggest anything if you have no idea of what you were talking about? Fuck's sake. This season fleshes out the character of Jackie. I mean, she's not very good, she's pretty one note. Most of the characters in the show are, but with her it's much more noticeable. She likes to cite sources. It's her key defining characteristic. I guess that could be interesting. Imagine how much you can do with citing sources. Actually, now that I think about it, maybe not. Maybe that's not an interesting characteristic, especially in a sitcom. How do you cite a source comedically? Especially without, like, showing a source, so you can't even make a funny observation about it. There's also the fact that sometimes she doesn't even really understand how to run a study. Surely that's a major part of being interested in studies, being able to make an effective one with any usable information. In episode 1, after Mr. Iglesias' class is given tablets, not the medicine, he finds out that there's only enough for half the class. You know, that's so sad, political commentary, but you get the fucking gist. After consulting Jackie, she says kids thrive when taking a break from technology.
Well, actually, a new study shows kids thrive when they take a break from tech.
He then decides to test his students to see who will win, Team No Tech or Team Tech. But there's a twist in this test. Team No Tech get to work together. Except not really. This guy doesn't get a tablet, but doesn't work with the group, so really it's just like choose a study group. It's not working together, it's just studying with your friends. At the end, it turns out that Team Tech won.
We all won.
What were the scores?
Okay, you ready? Team Tech did okay. They got a 91. But check this out. Team No Tech, 88!
And as Mr. Iglesias is distraught, he asks Jackie, "Hey, you didn't you say that Team No Tech would thrive without technology? Maybe you lied. Are you a liar?" dumb idiot, stupid idiot, dumbass. That's a direct quote directly from the episode. And she responds with,
I said they would do better. I didn't say anything about a quiz. A grade is only one small measure of well-being.
I don't think she could manage to be more condescending if she tried.
While that is true, there's so many more valid and easier things you could say to explain this result. Yeah, you did one test. You can't really come to a conclusion after only one. You gotta try it a few times before coming to a conclusion. Or you could say, how did the individual students do compared to their usual scores? Before any of you Mr. Iglesias scholars come at me, this is pointed out by the show.
I'm good. I rocked a B- on that quiz. That sucker went up on my fridge.
Yeah, and I feel more chill than I have ever been.
But my point is that Jackie did not give that as an example of why the test ended in such a way. So, I'm right, you're wrong. Shut the fuck up, 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 shut the fuck up.
Gabe, let me show you something. Look what happens when I open my laptop. I literally put a barrier up between us. Now, watch what happens when I open an old-fashioned notebook.
Oh, that opened right up.
Jackie, you are aware we're talking about tablets, right? You know, the device you can put down flat, just like a book? You should probably think of a better analogy there. Science and reason wins again. Blocking my face because I'm a fucking idiot. Here's one I just thought of. Maybe talk about how technology versus no technology is like an infinite library versus a single book. You can focus on more topics in a single book, while in an infinite library there's information overload and you'd rather be reading something else. This would also give a more balanced take on technology because, you know, an infinite library isn't a bad thing and a single book isn't a bad thing. These are both not bad things. There, you know what, get me on the writing team. Except don't. I don't want anything to do with your show, and one of the actors of Mr. Iglesias may have seen my original video and might beat the shit out of me if I set foot within 100 meters of the studio. Listen, I don't want to be mean to her. I'm not picking on her because I find it funny. It's just maybe having a costume designer act in your show can make her come across as not very good at acting. You know what, now that I think about it, maybe she is a perfect match for Mr. Iglesias. He's not very good at acting either. And at least Jackie is playing a character and not just herself, so I guess she's only the second worst character in the show. I didn't call attention to Jackie just because she's a bad actress. I called attention to her because she and Mr. Iglesias have some of the worst scenes in this show together as a couple. People are obsessed with this relationship. People are so obsessed that there's a school-wide text chain about this teacher dating the guidance counselor.
We're on a school-wide text chain about you and the new guidance counselor, Jackie Ontiveros.
They care so much, they'll fucking do whatever this movement is. They're like gawking at them kissing. They didn't even obsess this hard over Mikey and Marisol. Is it just me, or is it weird that the students are so involved? Why, Mr. Iglesias? Do you need such an ego boost? You get the whole school to be obsessed with your relationship. Mr. Iglesias, if you feel lonely or unappreciated, my Twitter DMs are open at sir_give_up if you really are down that bad. Now, this may seem quite meaningless. You may think, these scenes aren't much. You wouldn't say these scenes are the worst scenes in the show. But what if I told you that Jackie and Mr. Iglesias are in the worst scene of this season? Actually, scratch that. The worst scene of the show. And it's just them. No other named characters are in this scene. It's so bad, I've decided to give it an official name. So if any of you Mr. Iglesias wiki editors want to add this as a new section, I called it The Scene. Because I'm not very good at naming things. Hey, I hope you guys like not being able to record because of the construction out here. I wonder why my videos take a long time to make. Maybe it's because they're cutting fucking trees down. What? They're cutting a tree down in the street next to me. So, yeah, we'll wait a little while for this next section. Just roll the fucking... the stupid skit. The stupid story-based skit. Just fucking roll it. I honestly can't find a single funny thing in this book. Well, I'm sorry that Matt Groening decided to make a 100,000-word Simpsons annual. This thing's longer than the fucking Hobbit. I don't understand why you think we'll find a funny joke in here to steal. Didn't the Simpsons formula break like 20 fucking years ago? Well, see, when we get out of here, we're gonna watch the other 25 fucking seasons. So when we find this A-star joke, what are we gonna do then? Fine. Why was season 25 so Bumblebee Man-centric? There's like 8 fucking pages on this guy. Alright, this search is fucking useless. Honestly. We need an actual idea. You know, like a plan, like I've been suggesting this entire fucking time. Okay, for the last time, Sans, stealing Simpsons jokes is not a plan. Maybe we need to come up with an original and funny joke instead of stealing them from a fucking Simpsons annual. We need some form of inspiration and talent, creating a joke that is unapologetically us instead of kowtowing to this big, unknown laugh track in the sky. I'm not going to read the Ricky fucking Gervais book. I would rather tear out all of my fucking hair. I'm not stealing an article from Ripley's Believe It or Not. The scene, aka the fucking stupid date scene that is some of the worst dialogue and actually unironically most if not all of the issues that have plagued the show for 3 seasons, God I hate it, is possibly one of the most embarrassing scenes in this show. I invite everyone watching right now to load up episode 2 of Mr. Iglesias Part 3. Skip about 10 minutes and 30 seconds in and watch this scene. This is the true test. If you can sit through this scene without grimacing or pausing, you can watch the whole fucking show. Let me set the stage. Jackie has asked Mr. Iglesias on a date. They're going to a fancy restaurant. So fancy, in fact, that Mr. Iglesias has to wear trousers. So it's about as fancy as a school dance.
You know, for you, I went into my pants closet. It's actually more of a pant closet, because I only have one pair.
You're so funny.
Did you guys know that Mr. Iglesias is funny? I don't think you've ever actually been told this by the show. That's script writing 101, just call the other character funny and that's how you know.
I'm only funny when I'm nervous, so you better get used to me being funny around you. Y'all ready for this?
Jackie, this is who you're calling funny. You're a horrible judge of character.
See, I don't get it. Women always say that they love funny guys, but then they end up going to the prom with handsome Juan Flores and his long flowing Mexi mullet.
I'm sorry, Mr. Iglesias, that you're being snubbed by women. Oh my god, is it physically impossible to be funny and attractive? I mean, obviously that isn't true, you know, because I exist. Wink.
But I never got those women who complain about their mean boyfriends while using the nice guy sleeve as a Kleenex.
What is this? There's like a whole subreddit dedicated to this shit. If the only relationship you think you can have with a woman or man or like anyone is a romantic one, then you're probably not a very nice guy. Do I have to say any more? I could also point out that you don't have to 100% like someone all of the time to be in a relationship with them. I mean, are you not allowed to have arguments with your partner?
Is this your anniversary? Because I can always tell when it's a first date. So awkward.
Hard to believe it's already been 5 years since we got hitched, right, honey bunch?
Oh, best decision ever, Pookie Bear.
Well, if you two aren't the cutest couple I've ever seen, champagne's on the house.
Wow, Mr. Iglesias, your relationship is so good, it's like a married couple. Here's a free bottle of champagne for free because you have such a fucking amazing relationship. It really is getting sad. Why is this a thing that happens so often? I hate how obvious they make it that it's an ego trip. Like, Jesus.
Hello. Sorry for the delay. That couple over there sent back 3 appetizers and their wine. Who sends back their wine?
Also, why is this waiter having, like, a casual conversation with these people? Why would you just come over and complain to this random couple about this other random couple? In real life, this waitress would just get, like, an awkward laugh. Like, I get it's a sitcom, but you gotta try a bit harder than that. This scene just feels so much like wish fulfillment. A lot of this season feels like that. Not only is his relationship perfect, but everyone also sees it as perfect and interesting. Why can't they just have a normal relationship without people being obsessed with it?
Seriously, give me a little glimpse at the real guy behind the funny guy.
The amount of children's heads I've had to metaphorically step on.
Listen, of course comedians are normal people behind the scenes. If somebody acted like a stand-up comedian in real life, you would never talk to them. They pulled the same shit in season 1 with the "you're just as human as the rest of us" line.
The part where you didn't want to come here and lean on us, you know? Share, you're just as human as the rest of us.
Mr. Iglesias, you're not Peter fucking Parker. You don't have a secret alter ego. Stop acting like this is some mind-boggling revelation. It just isn't. No wonder all the scenes in this show have half the cast. This show is awful at writing one-on-one conversations.
Been there, rode that horse. Fell off that horse. Literally. I got so drunk I thought I could ride a horse.
They always just feel the need to try and make some deep philosophical point, but the philosophical point is just, hey, comedians don't act like complete weirdos when they aren't performing, or let me tell you the point that this episode was trying to express as quickly as possible because there is no room for interpretation. You're not smart enough to actually understand the message that this very intelligent show is trying to tell you. You don't understand it, sorry. You gotta be at least 300 IQ, funny, haha, Rick and Morty joke, yeah?
Have got to go.
There's nothing. Nada. Zilch. I have no idea what they were thinking. This whole season feels very sanitized, and that is especially clear in the political commentary, or lack thereof. I said in the previous episode, if I can say something good about the political commentary of the first season, I would say at least I agree with it. I find another thing good about it. The show didn't pull any punches. The show is very obviously based on a fair few sitcoms from the 70s and 80s and some 90s thrown in there. These shows were very sanitized. Maybe not the Fresh Prince, but the other ones wouldn't really involve themselves in anything polarizing or serious. In season 1, the students held a protest against clear backpacks. Even though I think the ending of that episode is really bad, the fact that the students have a protest is such a cool idea. It established the show as different and very political. I think a good show could really capitalize on this idea and make it work. Unfortunately, that didn't really pan out. The show has been becoming less political since season 2, which only had 2 political episodes. It felt like they were trying to even make these political episodes feel less political, and they were just poorly executed with some less than stellar messaging, which, if I'm being honest, was just irresponsible coming from a major public figure. The way season 2 talks about climate change is basically denialism. Don't try and hurt the government's feelings. Fuck off. And the other episodes of that season were just episodes of sitcoms. This season has basically just scrapped anything to do with politics, the main draw of the show. Now it's just snappy one-liners.
Who could live in a country with a hierarchical system where the few have so much and the many have so little? Oh, that's right, us.
Marisol, I defended you. Come on, what the fuck happened?
Do we have to know all of this? Because world history is just so long.
Don't worry, climate change deniers are working hard to fix that.
I guess you could consider episode 2 a political episode. It talks about victims and people thinking of themselves as victims.
Yeah, you guys need to stop hating on yourselves so much. Being your own bully is called internalizing the aggressor. It creates self-imposed limitations.
Oh, fuck off. Self-imposed limitations? Let's not jump to conclusions. What are these limitations? Maybe they're just little minor things.
Whether you call it a caste system or a class system, all countries are basically just a big totem pole.
And you know who's at the bottom?
Black women.
Redheads.
And you know who has it even worse? Women of color get paid 54 cents on the dollar.
Huh. Being paid a little less or being 6 times as likely to end up in prison. Woo, tough call.
Yes, my favorite self-imposed limitations. Sexism and police brutality. Keyword there is self. That's right. If you've been racially profiled by the police, just remember, it's actually your own fault. Well, maybe you shouldn't have been born that race, huh? Fucking moron. Okay, I just can't be asked. It's honestly such a fucking stupid talking point. You know, maybe they feel like victims because they are fucking victims. That's not even a thing the show thinks about. And it's all wrapped up in this pro-America message.
Of course, the big difference between America and India is here it's the billionaires who are untouchable.
But in America, the have-nots can become haves by working hard or getting hit by a Walmart truck.
Well, I mean, they can, but they most likely won't. You are aware the rich are called the 1% for a reason. It's because there's next to none of them. It's almost like this is coming from a millionaire, someone you again shouldn't listen to on economic imbalances of our world. Or any imbalances. He probably doesn't even know how a seesaw works. Why did I think that was a good joke for the script? If this episode was about not allowing this victim status to get you down, you know, don't throw in the towel just because you're a victim. Work to stop these inequalities from happening. I think that would be a good message. Even if you aren't affected by these specific issues, I'm sure most people, mainly teenagers, what I presume to be the main viewing audience of your show, Mr. Iglesias, they will all have had similar feelings of giving up, especially in such a depressing time. A message to fight on and stop what's got you down could really go far. But no, it's just about not feeling like a victim. It's all in your mind. Listen, even if you make 50% less than me, you just need to work twice as hard. Oh, you want to point out some facts? Well, sorry, you're just internalizing the aggressor. I made it. I'm a fucking millionaire in my ivory tower. You can do the same. God, I guess there was something to talk about. My point still stands. Political one-liners pale in comparison to the actual fucking protest they held in the first season. Political one-liners do nothing but alienate an audience, which might not sound that bad, because in concept it really isn't. If you want an audience to agree with you, alienating them can convince them, but alienating them without a follow-up doesn't do anything. It just serves to make an audience feel left out. The episode about clear backpacks has a full narrative. It starts with Marisol objecting to the clear backpacks, and then elaborates on the objection with the protest and the speech. You know, theoretically, it would be able to convince somebody. As I've said, I don't like this episodes. Why do you think you need to explain the message to me? It's not that hard to understand, especially if you actually flexed your writing muscles. Maybe have a scene of Carlos using the clear backpacks to take people's stuff. Maybe have a scene where the students are eating sweets and, you know, chugging chug jugs. Then when their shit is taken away, the class feels comparably empty and less energetic. These are just a few ideas. I think I stole them from a Simpsons episode where they get, like, uniforms, which is just a far better version of this exact story, but the clear backpacks issue is a little bit more serious than uniforms. This season is just really boring. What am I even watching? Even bad shows are able to keep the characteristics of a character consistent.
May I ask why none of you signed up to chaperone the holiday dance?
I can't be working. I'm gonna be twerking.
So I would like to say...
What's twerking?
No!
That joke's fine, you know? Let's not continue it. It's good on its own. Why am I not continuing the clip? Oh, well... That's not... We don't have to continue it.
Too late. My hips have already started not lying.
That's a felony where I'm from, but I'd post bail.
I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk. I'm gonna leave. I don't want to talk about it. Doesn't this make me look really, you know, as somebody you should take seriously? You know, a show that does this? Isn't somebody who spends their time analyzing this shit really somebody who you really want to take seriously? That's real. It's real good. Just continue it. Do it again. Do it with Paula or whatever. Yeah, put Paula to do it. At least that fits her characteristics. At least she would do that.
What's with all the money on the floor?
In the second season, they rewrote Abby's character to be mean to Tony when he sexually harasses her.
So why did you leave my New Year party so early?
Because I was the only one there.
Hey, everyone I invited was there.
Yeah, you know what would be a really great New Year's resolution for you? Less creepy.
Alright, fine. I didn't mention it because it's probably good they got rid of that aspect. You obviously wouldn't want the bad parts of the 70s and 80s sitcoms you're ripping off. And casual, relatively unchallenged sexism is not what I think of when I think of a progressive family sitcom. So you should probably remove that aspect. But you just re-changed her character. They did this again in the dance scene at the end. What happened this season? Why is Abby suddenly okay with Tony's creepy behavior? If you're gonna change the characteristics of a character, at least stick with that change. Stop flip-flopping all over the damn place. It's distracting. Honestly, I don't think we should just ignore the victim episode. I don't want to leave it hanging there. It's an appalling message. Imagine if people actually cared about this show. Imagine hearing that message coming from what I can presume is a massive Mexican celebrity. That could really affect some lives. I don't know or care whether this episode was underdeveloped. You know, instead they could have just removed the scene. Or don't add in the part about police brutality in an episode about self-imposed limits.
These hardworking people don't loathe the police, quite the opposite. They understand what so many seem to have forgotten or never understood. Police spend most of their time in minority communities, that is mostly Black communities, because that is where innocent people are most being hurt by violent street crime. To put it plainly, police go where the crime is.
How's it going? So are you ready to, what are you interested in? What? How about, like, sports? Oh yeah, that's crazy. What kind of sports are you into? Okay, I fucking give up. If you didn't have a plan for this, why did you suggest it? Why did you think that a date would make this laugh track do its job? Oh, no. You'll see. When I fucking think of this joke, this audience will be going fucking crazy. You'll see, Sans. You'll see. Piece of shit. Don't you just hate having no plan? Like, I just can't think of a joke. Yeah, I'm talking to you. What, do you think I can't fucking break the fourth wall in my own video? Like, if you expected any form of consistency in this shit, it's gone. Sans is fucking down there. He just can't think of a fucking plan for the life of him. And I gotta think of this joke to fucking get us out of here. You all caught up? Anyway, what were we talking about? Yeah, books. We're cleaning up the books. Right, fucking hell. Well, you know, while we're here, I might as well talk about some fucking stuff from the newest season of Mr. Iglesias I find kind of weird and don't really enjoy very much, which is just the whole season, but I thought I would make it kind of cute. There's just so many missed opportunities. You know, like that girl Whitney. What a fucking missed opportunity there. I mean, I find it kind of weird what they did with her. She's just such a bad character. Like, she's pointless. She's fucking pointless. Every joke with her is about how mean and rich she is. And listen, I'm not against making fun of the rich, you know? This fucking series wouldn't exist if I was against making fun of the rich. Making fun of rich people is my bread and butter. But you need a bit more diversity with the jokes than that. Alright, this may come across as kind of hypocritical. I said last time you can have repetitive jokes for a secondary character. But, I mean, come on. Not just one joke. You need a couple you can cycle through so the character is formulaic but isn't one note.
Okay, I deserve a nice car, a beautiful house, and a prized show horse. Wait, I already have all those things.
You see?
They really just enjoy making the same joke with her. She's rich and a bit of a meanie.
Well, I love dances, just not at a high school. I prefer college dances or clubs. Anything with a list that keeps uggos out.
They could probably go further with this character, but I really don't see that happening.
My parents are in Saint-Tropez. Working on their tans.
It's something you may notice about her. She's sitting in the same place where Rakeem was sitting in the first season. He's never coming back, is he? He's never coming.
You have failed me for the last time.
One thing that really annoyed me was the episode where Mr. Iglesias is called out for playing favorites with Marisol at a parent-teacher meeting.
But he's not your favorite. Now is he?
Of course, this is the only even close to valid criticism in this episode.
It's remarkable how much Grace talks now.
I can't take all the credit, unless you're offering it, in which case it was all me.
I said it was remarkable, I didn't say it was good.
Because as everyone knows, Mr. Iglesias is so great at teaching, you could only criticize him for being too good at it.
Mikey tells me he's thinking about college.
Yes, you are welcome.
For nothing. He's just gonna get a bunch of student debt. That's the lamest kind of debt.
Fucking hell. What the fuck is this? Yeah, sure, that's bad. But maybe instead of calling him out for this, another thing that is considerably worse than playing favorites is openly mocking a student whose only crime is just being a bit obnoxious.
I learned how to drive, but my car drives itself. Just kidding, Nigel drives it.
I guess things could be worse, right? Could be Nigel. Where to, Miss Whitney? Where would you like to go? To the country club or to the yacht club? Pip, pip, here we go.
But yeah, playing favorites is the worst thing he does. Yeah, you keep telling yourself that. She's such a useless character. I say she's useless, but she does have a point. She's used in the last episode with probably her most distinct role, but we'll cover that episode later in the video. And believe me, it's about as stupid and vapid as the rest of her appearances, but it's something different. You know what else annoyed me? That plot with Marisol and her father, meeting up after a little while. So, Marisol's fucking dad comes around and he's like, "Hey, Mr. Iglesias, is there any place I can find Marisol?" Turns out that Marisol doesn't really like him. Blah, blah, blah. They make friends at the end. Hoo-ha, the whole fucking world works. Do you want to know what's weird about this plot? It left me with one question. Why isn't this a Walt episode?
We should treat them like kids in a divorce. Some of us get them during the day, the rest on nights and weekends. And then, eventually, we could leave them sitting on the curb after school when it's our day to pick them up.
He does get a plot this episode. He gets a driving license?
I did it! I got my driver's license! Ah!
Okay, I guess that's also part of his character. But it's not... Why? Did you not have an idea for a Walt episode? I'll be honest, I didn't even know Marisol didn't have a father. If I was working on a show, I wouldn't have a character just have an aspect and just never follow through on that. Why is there a father reunion episode not involving the character who we know doesn't have a father? The only character whose parents are mentioned frequently is Walt. Was it just to get the comedian cameo? Why didn't you just have him be her normal father? I mean, how hard is it to just make an episode about dumb father, smart daughter? That's another Simpsons thing. I think it's just the fact they wasted an opportunity to have a Walt dad episode. What are you gonna do? Have another dad reunion episode in this show that has 6 episodes a season? Good luck. I'd love to see you justify the same basic plot structure. Plot isn't even good. None of the character motivations make any fucking sense.
Thanks for helping me dodge my dad.
Yeah, about that, he asked me to give you his number.
Oh, wow. I'm gonna keep this in a safe place. You know how you insisted on meddling with my dad?
You call it meddling, I call it fixing with love.
Well, thank you. We actually had a pretty good talk.
Nothing happened between these two scenes, you just changed your mind with no motivation. Well, you know, it's just a slight mistake. They didn't have time to expand this plot, so they just cut some corners, despite the fact that this episode has 3 plots, one of which has nothing to do with the main plot. Well, you know, again, just lazy writing. I've watched this show so many times, I'm used to it.
So, you're not a father. And I am not one of your students. Sounds like we're done. Nos vemos.
Wow, damn, that was harsh. He must be steady in his beliefs.
I'm okay. Just had lunch with my dad.
Going over the tour schedule?
Nope. Tour's canceled. My dad said it wasn't fair to ask me to sacrifice school. He said he should be the one to sacrifice.
Oh. So that's the second time a character has changed between 2 scenes with no clear motivation. And before you say, oh, it's because they're father and daughter, that's why they're like that, they both act the same. Yeah, maybe in a good show I would believe that that was intentional, but this is the same show that had a plot about Romeo and Juliet having a happy ending. Personally, I don't think this show is intelligent enough to actually do that. This plot is a complete joke. You need to hurry up here, man. Joke. Oh, right. This is one joke. This is one joke in an episode where Tony goes on a date with a man dressed as a woman.
I went on a date with your sister.
I only have a brother.
Oh, man.
You see, the joke there is that he went on a date with a man, which, as we all know, is not a common thing to do. Ha 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 ha! Ha 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 ha. We don't get any more info about this sister, so don't worry guys, it's not transphobic because there's no development. Wait, I've actually got it. I'm a fucking genius. Also, in the script of this video, I misspelled the word genius, so take that as you will. I gotta thank you, kids. You're listening, and you're insightful, staring, kind of creepy, but whatever. It was really helped me fucking thinking of this joke, and I finally got it. Now, let me show you what a real man does to get out of a Disney sitcom ripoff. To get sans, I go! The final episode in the previous season was the ending of a pretty holistic plot. This plot took place over the 6 episodes, and it had some effects on the plots of each episode. Well, more like the side plots? Or was the theater supposed to be the main plot or the side plot of each episode? I can't remember. In terms of storytelling, it is a step up from the first season. Despite some worse story beats and character moments, it's still a bad season, but I can give it at least a few props for actually attempting to create an interconnected story for a season. This season's finale is a dance. I don't think it was foreshadowed. I guess the first episode is about love.
Marisol and I are going on a date?
They kiss in an episode, so I guess that was also about... I got nothing. I have nothing. It's such a disappointing final episode, especially seeing as I'm ending the series here. This is the final section before the conclusion, and I'm talking about a fucking school dance. Even the first season was able to make me care about the academic decathlon. This just feels cobbled together. Walt gets a plot? I mean, it's not really a plot. It's like 5 lines where he flirts with Whitney.
Well, I love dances, just not at a high school. I prefer college dances or clubs. Anything with a list that keeps uggos out.
I say let them in. Uggos just make us 9s shine brighter.
It's sort of forced in there. Why didn't they try and flesh this out over the entire season? They even had a joke in the first episode where Whitney calls Walt poor.
But I promise you, the people that work together will do better than the ones stuck with technology.
I'll bet you my car you're wrong. Wait, no, I don't want your car.
I'll take that bet.
You don't have a car, Walt. She didn't know that.
Oh, she knew. She knew.
Maybe have a scene where him and Lorenzo dance in a bro kind of way. That could be cute, you know, seeing as Rita Perez doesn't exist anymore. Oh wait, Lorenzo's gone.
A lot of people think it was Henry Ford, but it was actually Carl Benz.
Nice try, Walt, but the leader of the Aztecs was actually Montezuma.
Sorry, I'm just so obsessed about cars. In 3 hours, Mr. Iglesias will be giving me my first driving lesson. What? Up top!
Walt, did you forget Lorenzo is mono? And so does Rita Perez. I know this is history class, but do the math.
He's not in episode 4 and 5. Oh no. Is he okay?
Who fought in the Punic Wars?
Okay, I need to think of a joke. Oh my god, I'm gonna get fired from the show. Punic, sounds like pubic. That's a good one.
Not me. I'm as clean as a Ken doll.
Sexual harassment. As I've already mentioned, this happens. I honestly fucking hate this show.
Maybe you should face yours too.
You know, that could take all year.
I'll tell you what, I'll let you choose. Lose to me in Scrabble in front of the kids, or slow dance with me.
Why are you having this conversation in front of a bunch of teenagers? Oh, here comes the dance. Here it is. Yeah, it's a bunch of fucking dancing. Very fun to watch. Especially when they put a bunch of fucking copyrighted music over it. I'm glad they did that. I love this show. Mr. Iglesias does a slow dance at the end. That's nice. The extras in this scene, they just look like awkward. Can I end this segment? Also, in case you think you missed something from this episode, you didn't. I went over all the moments from this episode. There was like a plot about Grace being scared of dancing. It's not developed. It's about 3 scenes long.
This therapy works by charging into your fears instead of running from them.
So if I'm scared of bears, you want me to go fight a bear?
Of course you won't see to fight a bear.
I guess the bear line is sort of cute. It's probably the best moment she's had in this show.
Ready? I'm gonna go kill a bear!
Which is not saying much because she's a really underused character. If that's one piece of constructive criticism, because a lot of this is just ranting at this point, give Grace better plots, give Grace friends that she actually talks to. I don't know, she just doesn't, she's sort of disconnected from the entire show. Maybe you should think about that. Showrunners, you're not watching this. At this point, probably nobody's watching this because I'm obsessed with the show and I'm just talking to myself. It's like that one, it's like The Shining where he writes down on the fucking the typewriter, but it's me sitting in my room at 2 a.m. writing a script. On to the conclusion. Have fun in the fucking conclusion. Conclusion time, let's go. Sons, I fucking got it. I got it. I fucking did it! Yes, the greatest joke ever told. A magnificent and well-timed joke that some could even say I've spent 3 hours reviewing a children's sitcom just for this one joke. The joke is Mr. Iglesias! Wait for it. They'll get it in a minute. They'll get it in a minute, I swear. We're going home, son! We're going home. Well, it's finally over. What do I think? Do I think this season was worth reviewing? Well, I don't get what it's going for. The first season, I understood it was supposed to be a politically relevant sitcom, you know, it's like saying, I'm hip and cool, you know, I understand you kids, I understand your struggles, you know, shit like that. It's very common nowadays for that sort of shit, and it was alright at it. I would say it's better than some fucking awful political commentary that I've seen. It's just, it was a bit unsubtle, and that's the only problem with the first season. The second season lost a bit of its identity, but it did have 2 political episodes. You know, I didn't like what that season was selling, but at least it was fucking selling something. This season is nothing. I'd rather watch the first season, and that's double the fucking length of this season. It's so watered down. They probably heard the critiques of their political commentary, which I admit was mainly coming from losers who don't agree with it. But then there's me, a loser who does agree with it. Haha, self-deprecation, haha. It being the first season, but all I want is this show to be worth my time. When I wrote that, it didn't sound so self-entitled, but after I read it, it sounds kind of self-entitled. If they were trying to be politically relevant, they totally, without a doubt, failed. They're attempting to course correct, but it isn't as interesting anymore. I think this video series is flawed. I went too hard on the show in part 1. I think if I made that episode now, I would talk more about how the show was an interesting premise that was poorly executed. It also had some fucking awful acting. Like, I went back, they've come way more into their element now. I mostly agree with part 2. I said some stupid shit in that one. This is nothing against Black Lives Matter, but if you're part of that group, they support Black Lives Matter because that won't cut into their bottom line. Oh, really? Companies don't actually care about BLM? What are you gonna say next? The sky is fucking blue? Good work talking down to activists, moron. That's what the episode you were criticizing was doing, and you don't see the irony of doing that yourself. Good fucking job, moron. Jesus Christ. Imagine being so fucking stupid. Imagine being a dumb 16-year-old that thinks they know everything. I can say that now because I'm 17 and I do know everything. I don't really think I'm going to talk about this show anymore. The original video has like 1,000 views, and I'm really happy for that. It kicked off my interest in reviewing things, and I'm just like, I'm really happy about that. I may have repeated the joke about it being a children's sitcom and sort of hammed it up a bit, but really, I don't care about this show anymore. I said this may not be the end. Personally, I think I lied. This is the end. Really, it's just so bad. I had a hard time making this video, not including the fact I had a hard time speaking for a week because my wisdom teeth are coming out and they really fucking hurt. And it feels like I'm coming across as really obsessed. And I'd just rather end it here. I'm still gonna watch it so I can get like the feeling of power and knowing I'm smarter than this sitcom. But I don't think I'm gonna cover it anymore. Maybe like a tweet. I'll do like a tweet thing. The sanitized feel of this season is unignorable, and it is so boring. Even the ignorant and terrible messaging can't help it. I'm glad I can work on new things and move on to new horizons. There's new videos in the work. I hope they turn out really good. I'd really appreciate it if you liked and subscribed, especially seeing as you've watched this far. You owe me a like and subscribe. Good night, ladies and germs, and have fun in the meanwhile. That's right, that's how I'm ending the series, by begging for likes and subscriptions. You'll have to deal with that, motherfucker! Sand, are we out? I feel, it feel, tell a joke, try it, test to tell a joke. That would usually have a laugh. We must be free, there's no other explanation. Mr. Iglesias. Nothing. No laugh, no fainting, we did it. We're free. It's dead. We killed Mr. Iglesias. Yeah, TV show. You wanna go kill the real guy just to be sure? Good to be free, Sans. Good to be free.